Hey, good morning, Dungeon. Welcome back to the latest edition of Falcons football, guys. What's up? Good news, Falcons weren't playing, so nobody had a heart attack. Yeah, I wear my hair in like 85 different ways, and no, I don't have a weave. It's just long right now and out. But hey, back to Clarence's video. Awesome shit. That is my dude. Been my dude for what? Wow, me and you and Vandy been rolling what? 5, 8, 10 years, bro. I think it is. I've been on the board 20 years, over 20 years. I got on the board back in 1999, actually, blew that. 22 fucking years on that board. I don't know what that says about me. Do I have no fucking life? Possible. I'm just saying. Or, nah, not really have a life. I always like the convenience of the board, and it was always cool to be able to watch and multitask. So back to the dungeon. Yeah, Clarence laid it out pretty straight up. Like I did, we had a beef for one time, and let's clarify too. Ain't nobody hating on Obi. Obi's got an open ticket back. He has to make amends with one person whose name I am the name out of respect. But if it makes that good, old dude's back in. He's a good kid. 12. Fuck that piece of shit. Obi's getting ass raped in prison right now. Just saying, and I feel sorry for him if Lethal ever catches up with him. Lethal, you a big old dude, by the way, man. You Roy, bro, come on. I hire you, man. I need a bodyguard. I'm just saying, Lethal. You know what I do to spook shit. Just playing, bro. No, my man Lethal be eating good. I watch his post on Facebook. Boy, we lifted. Lethal be doing that work, bro. So I'm gonna talk a little football, but I'm keeping it in the category of. So I'm trying to keep things short. Ask KOG when you start talking to friends, it gets real hard. So I apologize. Fast forward anyway. But KOG, man, you touched on something really good. And look, I'm going back and forth on this Grady. Grady was actually something I actually was like, fuck no. I think it was Vail brought it up initially. I think it was. Vail, I'm not trying to call you out. I think it was. Okay, you're right. Is he good? Is he a good to very good D tackle? I think I said that, but let me re-say that. Yes, he is. I don't think anybody really wants to get rid of Grady Jarrett. Does that make sense? And honestly, I could care less about the dollars they pay. I have a lot of problems, but not being capitalist and is not one. I don't have a problem with guys making money, but there is a realistic on the cap. And look, I'm not a cap expert, dude. You know that, so I don't really care how they get paid or how they work it. The problem with Grady is just it may be maybe can blame it on the pass regime, maybe not. It just takes up an enormous amount of our cap, and there is a nice savings. And it may be a reality to go. And one, the dude's far outplayed any shape, form, or fashion of his status draft. But I'm gonna correct you on something. Brady's sacks have not increased. He went from 1 sack 15, went up to 3, went to 4 and 17. He's got 6 and 18, 7.5 and 19. Fantastic. 24 went 4 sacks. 20 was an aberration year, of course. 1 this year. Yeah, you're right. 3-4, 4-3. That 4-3-4. He's essentially a D tackle, but as you know, that's one less down lineman generally. And these constant shift changes and hybrids may not be great. And you see it too, but I mean, he does great, especially on the thing. But his highlight, his 7.5, his 6 sacks, his 1-4 in, like or not, the Quinn, you're a 4-3 guy, right? In that type of defense. McKay, I'm going to correct you one, and I've read a lot of McKay and Mullen. You have one little thing. McKay was not a 3-4 guy. You're mixing that up. I'm sorry, bro. He is not a 3-4. He's a 43 Tampa 2 disciple. You are kind of correct. He used to be a 3-4 guy, but then he hooked up with Dungy and changed his game. He even talks about that. But I love the point you made that you're absolutely right. It's about balance. Absolutely. In fact, him and Polian both, who are 43 guys. And you know what our 43 guys, if you read Polian's book, I'll get it to you, guys, if you want it. Clarence, if you want it, is 43 was easier to buy for. I could go, as long as they could find me an under tackle. You call out a position, an under tackle. I could find me a fast inside linebacker, a real linebacker, like a You need one. You need a fast inside middle linebacker or a fast will linebacker. Like Derek Brooks is the prototype, obviously. Warren Sapp would be the other. And last but not least, they want at least one good corner. So they can build on 3 levels, and in theory, they can build this based on cheaper 43, because I could go out and find, say, the Buffets, and guys like that at Lynch. In theory, at one time, and I think it's probably still true, depending on who's the coordinator, is you could get cheaper guys to plug in and put your, what it allows you to do is put your money on the offense. And if you look at those Tampa teams, and he did convert over, that is true, he was a 3-4 guy one time, let me point that out. So he converted over with Dungy, but Dungy had a hell of a system. I mean, Dungy had control of that system, even at the Colts. You just saw it. And Dungy plugged and played a lot of 6-rounders. Have you not noticed that all those 4-3s, they ended up being one premier edge rusher? And you're right on the edges. Their preference was always to draft and get small ones. Like prototypical was Robert Mathis, and then of course our boy Dwight Freeney out on the side. Ironically, the best Super Bowl came on the Tampa side. And Tampa, and look, McKay and Polian are like this. They're like boom coon buddies. They even talk about it. In fact, Polian talks about it in his book, the game. Help me out here, Kiwi Smart. I think it's called the Playbook or the Game Plan or something. I got it. I'll send a link to it. They talk about that, and Booger McFarland changed the game, that balance for the Colts. And as you know, Simeon Rice adding that length and that size made a difference with the Bucks. So no, he is a 4-3 guy. He also brought Moore here, who's a strictly Tampa 2 guy. He also brought, as you know, BVG. So a little bit wrong. I'm not calling you out because he did like 3-4. He had a big background at one time, went to the 43. He went specifically Tampa style by like 43. What all this 3-4-4-3 really accomplished on his team, and part of the roster was when we brought Dave Nolan in. And I don't know. If you got insight, let me know, bud. I don't know where the Nolan came in. I don't know why they chose to bring Nolan in and then go fire him 2 years later. Because Nolan, that roster was not built for Nolan, as you know, and that's part of our problem. Now you flash forward to Grady and how that relates. The best years of Grady are clearly in that type of attacking. Let's be honest with you. It was more of a 4-3 Tampa style. Was not a 4-3 under. You said that. Didn't have any 3-4 principles. Wasn't multiple front really under Quinn. Maybe a little bit, but ultimately Grady was just one gap and fire. And so you got to ask yourself, and I don't know, is that the player that works for the P scheme going forward? Is he transcendent enough that he could be, Donald, and it comes down to cash. Look, they want to pay the dude. They like him. Ain't nobody bitching about Jared, but I'm just going to lay it out there. I see Jared as a legit possibility of moving down the line. And it's not because he's a bad guy. He's only got 1 sack this year. It certainly doesn't mean he's doing bad. He's obviously creating pressure. He's obviously still doing things, but you can see he disappears at times and a lot, and it's not uncommon, but that is best. He was literally in that Dan Quinn kind of. In fact, if he'd been on the other side with Dan Quinn's defense, we'd probably scored 2 more defensive touchdowns against us. I mean, I hate to say it, but as much as I hate the Cowboys and DQ, you put Grady Jarrett over there, they're number 1 defense, easy, bro. I mean, boom, done. So what do you need? So my mock, and we'll talk to my mock for a little bit. It's a scenario. It's not a mock. I do scenarios. First of all, I look, KOG, Nine God, Vandy, and how you guys been doing. If you get 1, 2, if you get 1 guy on a mock, you're fucking doing great. If you get 2 guys, 3, you're a gold fucking star. We generally do our stuff. I know classes to positional based. Positionally based, from what I can see in terms of signings, I don't know how Grady's going to fit ultimately. And I don't know specifically how he'll fit in terms of cost, revenue, and cost per unit output. I mean, that's not a slight. So I do think we could see bigger. Now, I like what you're saying. I'm all right. You get a Jordan Davis. Let's say we find a way we're going to keep Grady. Now you got P's who's multiple maybe going. well, fuck it, my best two players are defensive tackles. Well, that's when that multiple kind of comes in. He may say, fuck it, I'm going to go 4 men. That's a real possibility, right? Let's clarify another thing. You know, Pease is multiple. He does both, flexes both fronts. It just really depends on where they're going with this. And I think we'll find a lot by that first pick. As of now, last year we spent money on what, Graham, brought in several big-bodied, kind of 5-tacky type guys. Just brought in a couple of nose tackles. I don't know. I think a lot have come out in the draft or free agents. So let me get out of the way. Nobody wants to get rid of Grady. Wide receiver wise, it's interesting. I'll go back. I'm with you, Clarence. I'm not sure how Ridley fits in. I think Ridley put us in a really weird spot in some ways. His trade value is not up. And you are spot on. And I got Alabama boosters that are friends. That's how I like Bama. As much as I'm a Georgia guy, I love Bama because I got booster friends, and I know a lot about that program, and I've been to some of their booster events. As you all know, I went to school in Alabama too, so it helps a little bit. But in the day, man, really has had issues with pressure. He's had anxiety. I mean, other things. I don't know the specifics. You hear the rumors, but he's been since college days. That's not exactly a trade bait guy. He's slight. He's very small. He's only, 180, 190. When you look through those rosters of AS, he tends to have big boys. You know, Sharp was on there, 6'3", long. He'll have a long, lean guys. He has a lot of tight ends, and of course, A.J. Brown. You guys know that. Corey Davis, not little receivers. Roddy White would have loved Arthur Smith. I mean, Roddy White would have been shit. In some ways, Roddy White might have gave Julio a run for his money for statistical wise, because Roddy White crossed the middle, big, strong hands, tough guy. And while I'm on wide receivers, we thought, point, you're right. Maybe Julio going was a good thing. With a guy like Julio, you do tend to key in. And that was even true of Bama. And looking back, a lot of times, I think Shanahan, the year before the Super Bowl, was doing nothing but dumping Julio, and you do that at times. So two wide receiver really is interesting because we may be hamstrung. You could release him, I think. I think you could extend him, maybe get the cap down. Just comes down, are you willing to work to put that guy in space? I mean, he needs space. He's not a prototypical go across the middle guy. That's not his game. So only wide receiver, and I'll put one in my scenario. There's a few. There's two I want you to think of. One, obviously, Traylon Burks. Big, strong, 6'3", 220. I'd call more Metcalf, maybe A.J. Brown than Julio, but again, fits that mold, that Smith mold. And then, of course, there's David Bell, another one I'm going to put stomp him. He may, right now he's a second rounder, but David Bell, 6'1", 210. He looks like Roddy White to me. If you look at him, he reminds you of Roddy. Looks just like Roddy did in UAB, Madison trips. That same, got athleticism, really a burner, but he gets that shit done. And I'm like, I think even you, Clarence, like tight ends, I think we're going to see a glut of tight ends. One thing I like about Smith, he doesn't seem to stray from his roots. So back to the 34, 43. I don't think Debo at all fits. I think Debo is just an exorbitant amount of money. 07, 007, I don't speak cap when it comes to particulars. According to you, saying it, I got it. Maybe there isn't. Maybe it's subtraction by addition. But I mean, how do the guys barely 215 that makes business decisions fit into P's defense? I don't see it. About Christian Harris, I don't know that I would. If Christian Harris is a barnstormer, I think I said that. But what he does, he's a very physical guy and he's smart. Another guy I like in the middle, to be honest with you, would be Micah McFadden. I love him. Look him up, guys. He's a 6'2", 240, just kind of classic Mike, but he's actually a better cover. He's from Indiana. And then, of course, Brandon Smith, the one you're alluding to, yeah, you're right. I don't give a shit what he tests. That dude plays at a 4'3". You're right. He plays 4'3" on tape. He definitely fits the mold. And no one Pease, it just really depends. Pease has had a unique defensive years. Some years he's all in on the D line, right? He spends the money. They get the Gatos. They go out and put big money. Over here in New England, they had a glut of defensive tackle, 5 techs, if you would. This Seymour, they had Warren, Ty Warren, they had Jarvis Green, they had a multiple, and Vince Wolford. You saw a lot of 4-man fronts because they were best there. Then it kind of covered, it cyclically went to those linebackers. So the first pick's going to be real curious to me because it'll kind of set the tone where we're going. But right now, 2 players I'm looking at, I think Jordan Davis. I think Jordan Davis has another leg up. He's a Georgia boy. It's great publicity. Great publicity. All right, but keep your eyes on them. So to recap, those are players that, hey, Night God, Clarence, appreciate your honest, very great thing. I like your studio. I work in Chantilly a whole lot. I know where Chantilly's at. Next time over, I'll give you a call, bro. You guys have fun. We'll stop at 15 minutes.